Hello guys, and welcome to another video from the Ozarks. What is up guys? Today I'm going to be shooting a video in my bedroom of my personal best bass story. So for today's video, before we get into how I caught it and what all happened, I'm going to kind of give you a background of how I began the journey for this personal best bass. The journey and kind of like how I started fishing began on June 7th. June 7th was the day that I really kind of first began to have a loving and growing passion for the sport of fishing. That day was a great day. That day I caught two personal best bass, 4.7 pounds and 4.5 pounds. I'll be showing you a picture of them right. So about this day, about these fish, I was fishing with Drew. He's really the main reason I'm into fishing and I have a passion for it. But yeah, we were fishing the whole day from 10 to 6 sundown or 8. We were fishing and we were using trick worms and swim baits and I think flukes. I don't know, but I remember very vividly that we were. There's this little drop off and we were fishing, and at the time I knew nothing. I mean, if you were to ask me what a spinnerbait was, I was like, what kind of trash is this? Or a topwater frog or anything. I had no idea. So I was taking this swim bait, I have my little button rod sitting here, flinging it out there. This is 13-year-old me, not knowing what the heck I was doing. I was throwing it out there and I get hung up on a big old branch, a brush pile. And I pull it out and I rip it out, and right as I rip it out, whoop, my rod loads up, and there it was, the 4.7 pounder. Now, I'm not going to talk about the 4.5, it's just like every other catch on a trick worm. But the 4.7, this one was a lot more significant to me because he took me on a fight. It was so much fun. Yeah, so there's kind of the build up to my current personal best bass. So after just getting after June 7th, caught those two personal best bass, 4-pounders, a solid fish for Northwest Arkansas. This was when I really grew a love and a passion for fishing. Almost every day I was either watching a fishing video or just studying, really. I mean, most of the time from right now, if you see me, I'm probably studying, watching a fishing video, looking at Bass Resource or any sort of bass fishing industry page or anything. That's what I'm doing. I love fishing, and it started June 7th. From then on out, I began to fish every other day, maybe 3 to 5 times a week throughout the summertime. That's really what I did. I fished football, basketball, but I really had a love for fishing. So let's talk about my personal best story now that you have kind of a background of how I began to fish, really. So the date was April 12th. No, I'll go back a little bit. The date was, let's just say, a few weeks before April 12th. I have a buddy who his name is Drew. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. But yeah, we were fishing and at a local lake from where I live, and he says, "Dude, there's this pond down deep in Fayetteville and Weddington. It's got pads. It's got really everything you look forward to in frog fishing." And I was like, "Dude, let's get all over that sucker." So we did. We went out there the very first time. Just a big day for me. I was like. I was really anticipating it and just had so much high hopes for it, and we went out there the first day and we skunked. We caught one fish and that was it on a swim jig, and it really lowered my hopes a ton. So I was like, dude, let's give it one more shot. So we did. We went out there the next time, and this is April 12th, a big day. We were like, dude, the conditions were set up for us to catch some more fish than really one fish. So we started out at this pond. We fish. I caught my very first frog fish there, believe it or not. Yes, my very first frog fish. I've been fishing for a year and a half now. Or no, probably, yeah, 2 years actually. No, not yet. Year and a half, like year and three months. Year and a lot of months. So I'd never caught a frogfish. So we go and I caught my very first frogfish in some pads. It was awesome. It was the video. The video is actually up on YouTube. I'll give a link down in the description below for you guys to watch that, and most definitely give it another view and another thumbs up. So go ahead and do that. It also is my personal best video. So back to the story. Yeah, we were fishing. I caught my very first frogfish. We caught I think around 9 or 10 that day on just bubblegum, trick worms, worms, just weightless. And the day was slow. It really was. I'm not going to tell you that we absolutely whacked them. We caught 2s, 3s, 4s, and then the 5. But it was just a slugfest of a day. I mean, no, not a slugfest. Slugfest is doing good. It was like a sluggish day. That's the word. But yeah, we just were not on them. It took around 4 or 5 hours just to catch them. So we started off. We went to 3 different ponds. First one, that's where we caught 5 or 6 fish. First frogfish. Second pond, we spent maybe 10 minutes there. It was absolutely terrible. And then the third pond, and we spent maybe 2 or 3 hours at the first pond, and then about maybe 45 minutes to an hour at the second pond, and then the third pond. This is where I catch my PB. This pond is awesome. I mean, the lily pads in there, there's some that are like this big, and then there's some that are just this big, just barely have any size to them at all. So we get to the third pond. We're really anticipating nothing, to be honest. We go out there, there's a little dock, and I take my frog, I go skip it underneath a dock. Nice sound effects there. I skip it all the way underneath there, and within maybe one twitch, I slam the hook in this dude, and he's not there. And it was just a toad of a fish. I had him for like a second, and then he just flew off. And I was, at that point, I had spent so much time before that pond just throwing that frog and working it. And when that fish came off, I automatically knew that was touching 6 or 5. I mean, I could just, it was one of those fish where it was a big fish. So at that point I was 110% discouraged. Really didn't even want to keep fishing, but I did. Thankfully I had some perseverance in me. So we continued to fish, and about an hour after that, sun's about to go down. You guys, if you've seen the video, it's down in the description. You can tell we didn't catch any fish for about an hour and a half, and we were already. I mean, Drew was already packing his stuff in the he was about to pack his stuff up. We only had one rod left, and the man who was taking us, his grandpa, he said, "All right, guys, 15 minutes." You could probably hear it. No, you can't hear it in the video. I didn't have a GoPro on, but he said, "All right, guys, 15 minutes left." So since the week before I fished there, it was one little corner that I broke off on a decent fish, like 2.5 or 3. So I was like, all right, there has to be fish in this corner. So back to April 12th, the day that I caught him. I was walking down the bank. I've already fished. It's like a 60 to 70 yard circle, and I don't know. Not good at math or geometry or whatever it is. So I've already walked around it maybe 2 or 3 times with throwing frog, fluke, whopper plopper, all those sorts of things. Drop shot, shaky head, all that. So this is like my 3rd time. I'm practically just sitting here throwing it out there, not really caring at all. But I line myself up, and I just make a boom, just stick and fire this thing way up there on the bank. Probably like 20 or 30 yards, maybe even 40. No, probably not 40, probably 30. Around 30 yards. And I start working it. I'm twitching this thing. I'm sitting here like this, just not really putting any enthusiasm into it. And this thing just goes, whoa, just completely swipes at it and rolls on it. And it was insane. I sit there and I go, whoop, and just start cranking. I can't even crank really. I'm just slowly just reeling in like this, and it's crazy. And so I'm reeling in, and then he takes me to deep water, then shoots back shallow all the way into the pads, and I'm like, that's it. This was my only big frogfish of the day, and he's off. So I sit there and I'm screaming, Drew, get to that, get to that, get to that. And he runs into the car and he's trying to yank it out and he can't get it. And so he's sitting there for like maybe 10-15 seconds just scrambling around trying to get the net. And as he goes in for this fish, I see the head of it and I'm like, dude, this thing's touching 8, 7. Now keep in mind, I was just so juiced at that point, you know, I just started naming numbers. I'm like, dude, this thing's 7 or 8. He lifts it up here, boom, puts it on the bank, and I'm sitting here like, dude, that's gotta be 6. I pick it up, and the head on this thing, you know, I could just put my knuckle inside of it and wiggle it around. Like, it was just that big. The bucket mouth on that fish was insane. Sadly though, the fish itself was extremely unhealthy. It was sad. To know that that fish was that unhealthy was pretty sad. It seemed like a pretty older fish. But yeah, I pull it up there, I hold it, show it to the camera, and it's just so skinny. I mean, he's saying it was 4, and I bring it to one of my good buddies, and I show them a picture, and he shows me. I show him my knuckle and everything, compare it, and it was a 5-pounder. He confirmed it was just barely 5. If that thing was pre-spawn, you know, about to, you know, up shallow, you know, chasing all sorts of different fish and bait fish and food, he said he was touching 6 3/4 to 6.5, and I was just like, oh goodness gracious, you know. I'm so happy I just broke my PB, but at the same time, this could have been such an enormous fish. It was insane. Nevertheless, though, that was one heck of a fish. I will never ever forget it. Just the build up to how I got it and how I caught it. Yeah, that's really all I have for y'all today, guys. I'm so thankful that you guys have clicked onto this video and watched it, guys. Again, the link to my personal best bass video is down in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I sincerely hope you guys enjoyed this video, actually. I hope you guys will drop a comment and a like down below and hit that subscribe button. And as always, guys, I'm not John.